Hello again, everyone. Welcome to this IMSTA Antares video, and thanks for taking a look. My name is Griffin, and for the next 30 minutes, I'll take you through 4 new releases from Antares: Auto-Tune Pro X, Slice, Vocodist, and the all-new Vocal EQ, offering tricks and tips you won't find anywhere else. That's the point of these videos, so I hope you enjoy your time watching. Now, as I mentioned in the other stream, my career has been a ride through technology and art with ups and downs through the years, but highlights include mixes for Madonna, engineering for Kanye West and John Legend, recording jazz guitarist John McLaughlin, and others as time has passed. Years ago, I began working with hardware and software companies to get my own products built, and in the process, made friends with the people at Antares. They're cool, and I believe in their work, so they asked me to do videos and introduce new products, and I like being part of the extended family. So I'm happy to be here once again with IMSTA, representing Antares and introducing the new plugins. As mentioned, this is the second of 2 streams I'm doing today, the other being an extended overview of Auto-Tune Pro X. So thanks for taking time to hang. Let me change cameras once again and we'll get started. As I mentioned in the other video, and I'm sure you can hear it, I'm suffering through the last days of COVID, and I'm feeling better, but I'm still quite stuffed up. A little better than I was middle of the week, but you can still see it in my face and not quite where I want to be. But I'm happy to be here talking about these 4 products. The first one is Auto-Tune Pro X, and I just finished a stream about full-on Auto-Tune Pro X and all the new features and all the ways you can make it work for you. So I won't go into that here, but the number one call they get is, how do you do the Auto-Tune effect, which I find so simple. I'm going to show it to you here. And then, how do you make graph mode easier to work? Well, I think graph mode is really easy to work, so I'm going to show you a couple of things here, and then I would invite you to watch the other stream. We're just going to do a few things here. I have the same session that I used for the other stream, since I had it up. Here it is. And literally, you just hit the key and scale, and if you don't know the key and the scale, you can use something called auto key. You don't even have to use the vocal you're going to use. You can use something where you kind of know it's going to be the right key. So let's listen here.
So how could you save me, darling, from you?
So E minor is the key, and what we're going to do is send to Auto-Tune, and you know what? Let's just, for kicks, let's put this on C chromatic just so you can see it change. Send to Auto-Tune, E minor. There we go. And if you wanted to set the input type, you could literally play a little bit of this and hit learn. This is a new feature in Pro X, and it's going to set the input type properly for you. It's going to predict alto tenor is indeed what she is. This works nearly 100% of the time. I've never seen it go wrong in the alpha and beta versions that I've been using. So you literally set retune speed. It's in milliseconds. I would suggest, if you wanted a baseline, I'd say between 35 and 40 for a really, really natural result. Let me play it for you.
Lying on your floor, baby, bumping.
You can move down to 40 or 50 for almost not tuned.
Music that's magic.
Flex tune is going to help you out a little bit, depending on if you have a bend or so forth. So I would say set that about 20. Set this about 30 to 35. Hit natural vibrato at 0. Kick up humanize. These are going to be your basic settings for just about every vocal. I would recommend against setting it to chromatic. And here's why. Because it will tune it, but like to what note? Chromatic is every note, of course, and you'll want to find your key and scale. Now, for a singer that's kind of in the ballpark, it works. And if you're in the ballpark, it's going to work, but it's going to kick you or kick the vocalist to some notes that may or may not be in the scale. So I always encourage people to just go on and find the scale. If you're a music person, you'll know the scale. If you're not, auto key or something like that would be a great thing to use to find your key. And that's basically it. You can choose your classic and modern algorithm. You can play with the format. If you're going to use the modern algorithm, I would encourage you highly to put the format on. It's just going to sound a lot smoother. It's not going to sound so tight and weird. So this is the way to set auto mode just about every time, and you can kind of tweak. If you want to go tighter and kind of have an effect, well, you can bring it on up. But right in here, and I've had it out pretty far, 50 and 60. You can hear it with a good singer.
That's tragic.
So that's auto mode in a nutshell. Let's move over to graph mode, and you can see it's a blank slate. The first thing we need to do is get pitch in, and we could bring it in via just hitting pitch and hitting play here. And that's kind of the most simple way. It's not the fastest, but let's do a little bit here, and I'll just show you kind of what happens. So you can see the pitch lines coming in.
Music like this is music that's magic.
And for the purposes of speed here, we'll just do that. There's a new preference in AutoTune Pro X that after tracking, it'll make note objects, and that's exactly what's happened. And it will do it according to your key and scale set here. It'll do it according to your input type. And if you want more or fewer notes, well, you can just adjust the sensitivity here. And, well, I think that that's an amazing thing. 50 is stock. 66 seems to be working here. And that's basically going to give you what you want. Look, watch.
Lying on your floor, baby, bumping Illmatic.
Good. And you can set the retune speed for each note object if you want. If you want to have a little more control, you can move a note object, and you can hear the pitch that it's going to move it to. You could undo. You could get out the scissors. You could cut these note objects in 2 or 5 or 7 and retune speed each of those. So graphic mode is just super simple. And it looks good, and you can see the piano keyboard operating here to the left, so you're never lost, and you always know where you're going to be. So that's graphic mode and auto mode in a nutshell for the new AutoTune Pro X. And if you want to know more, there's many videos that I've done about it for Antares, and then there's the previous IMSTA stream, which I just finished. So check those out. And let's move on to Slice. All right, so here's the session we're going to use for Slice. You can see it says tip 6. This is what I used for a top 10 tips video for Antares earlier this year. And I like the track, and it showcases Slice really well. Let's hear it. So there's no melody yet. We're going to use Slice for that. And you can see I'm using a lot of Reason. I'm using actually Avox Warm here, using battery. A lot of my own personal sounds and so forth. So this is the track. You can see how it goes. Okay, good. So let's bring up Slice and start looking at what it's going to show us. Give it just a minute to come up here. So it launches in browse mode, and you can see that all of the sound libraries are here intact. I put a lot of the sounds in. In fact, if you listen to some of these, if we like bring up Save Me and put it in record. Yeah, go crazy, right? And you can hear, Fly Away Is Me. I pitched it down and did some effects to it. Shake Your Body is one of mine.
To me, turn the key, move and talk to me.
Talk to me.
Shake your body.
Shake Your Body. Yeah, and then I put a lot of the Her Fire hooks in and a lot of other stuff. But one of my favorites are, let me go to Her Fire. Won't Get the Best of Me down here. And let's load it up and I'll show you what it sounds like. And it's sliced up. Let's go to edit mode. You can see exactly what I'm doing. And if I come up here, that's the whole sample. And so if we play it like this, it's going to be in the wrong key. But it has auto-tune built in, so we'll just use the format and transpose, and we'll just take it down a whole step. Yep. So, all right, so you can see that each of these keys has the slice that it's playing. If I'm playing it on my MIDI keyboard. I don't know if you've seen this, but this is the MIDI keyboard that I'm using. And it's just sitting here on my desk. I carried it to all the studios I go to. All right, so let's get like... All right, so that's a little delayed, it feels like. And so I'm just going to take the end of it here and just... It's got a little click on the end, so let me take it out just a little bit. Get feels just a little... yeah, that... I can already tell I'm going to want a new slice. So let's bring it up here to this key. And I literally just have to start dragging out. And let's get it right in here, and let's see what this sounds like.
Won't get the best of me.
Yeah.
Won't get the best of me.
So I put it on that key, and I could actually bring it down here and trade places with it if I wanted to by holding Command. And let's put that here, and it'll just trade places.
Won't get the best of me.
Yeah, that's going to help me.
Won't get the best of me. Won't
Yay.
get the best of me.
And I might time it out just a
Won't
little
get
bit.
the best of me.
Yeah, that feels better. Okay, so I'm going to put it in record, and let's just see what we get, right? I mean, this is real time, folks. Here we are. So... Good. And that's not bad, actually. Let me just make sure that's quantized. And I don't think I like this. Let's erase that and erase that. And all right, let's hear. Let's add some more effects. Let's add some delays here, maybe a couple of different delays. We'll do a ping pong. We'll do another ping pong here. We'll do a lot of feedback. We'll put one of these on maybe eighth note dotted or eighth note triplet. Let's see what eighth note dotted sounds like. Yeah, now we're starting to get some. Let's put a phaser on the end of it here, and see what happens. Yeah, just a little bit. Ah, very nice. All right, so now we've got that. Let me just solo this up here with all the effects and all the love, and maybe take it out of record and put it in loop mode here. And I want to show you the envelope and some of the playback controls and what they mean. I can show you the playback controls really quick. If I put it back in record, you can play the whole thing backwards. And that would sound like this. Ah, that's really cool. One of the cool things about doing these videos is sometimes you don't know what's going to happen, and that's cool. I'm actually going to save that now for something else. Check this out. And I'm going to put that on my desktop for later. Thank you for playing. Yes. Okay, so back to us. We could also do a reverse or a loop forward. We could just kind of keep it looping. And that's kind of cool. You know, it gets crazy. Let's put it on forward for now and go from there. So those are the playback controls, and you can alter that with some different things. You can have velocity. There we go. So let's put it back at 50. Amp envelope is what you might expect. You can vary the attack. You know, here's your... Have a little fade in, or have it where it's just really, really short. So you can have like a percussion thing. It's a really cool thing. So let me reset all this. I'm just hitting Option and holding. And talk about throat and transpose. Throat is the same as it is in Auto-Tune Pro X. So when you have format off, that has no effect. And you can do a mix between the untuned, if you're into ninths and so forth. So between all the playback controls, the amp envelopes, all the different delays and effects and doublers and phasers and everything that you can do, Slice is a really effective tool, and I've only scratched the surface here. You should download a demo of Auto-Tune Unlimited and check this thing out. It's actually one of my favorite tools, and you can bring in your own sounds. Let me bring up a folder here. and take a drone loop. It's designed for vocals, but it'll do anything, and it'll say, hey, you want to basically ruin your life? And you say yes, and here we are now. So, and I'm just pressing the different keys, and of course it's mapped it out up as far as the octaves will go, and well, it's really cool. So if I wanted to do this now and have it like a percussion. So you could see right away that this could be a very cool percussion instrument with the transpositions and the formatting and the throat. So you could shape a lot of stuff with this, and of course get rid of the effects. And you got to roll the dice kind of randomizer on both your presets and your effects. And so I love this thing. Go check it out. See you soon. All right, this session is going to help us talk about another favorite plugin, Vocodist. And it's a song I did years ago for another vocoder, and it had its life, and I'm going to use it because it's such a kind of a fun thing. It's just me being stupid. Here, listen.
Rock it like a hurricane,
Just being dumb.
roll it like you're gone insane.
I was much younger.
Music's feeling alright, the chords are working all night.
Well, mute me. It's not going to matter what I sound like, because we're going to put a vocoder on it. All right, let's do that now. So let's instantiate Vocodist, and it's going to come right up. And out of the box, it's going to track our pitch, but my voice did not have the best pitch reference. So let me solo it up and show you kind of what's going to happen. It's going to be bad. Here we go.
Let me rock it like a hurricane.
It's just all over the place. So let's start by turning on Autotune. Autotune is built in. We'll put it into C minor, turn on Autotune, just push that thing all the way up, maybe get a little room for humanization. We're going to work with compress and emphasize to get the input where it needs to be.
Let me rock it like a hurricane.
And just makes it a little louder.
Roll it like you're gone insane.
Emphasizes the high end.
The music's feeling alright,
There we go.
the chords are working all night.
All right, so I'm not a big fan of what it's doing out of the box, but that's okay, because we're actually going to tie it to MIDI and show you how this thing really works. Before we do, I want you to understand that this is 19 different models of vocoding from history. And so you have your voder from the 40s, all the way through some of the Roland stuff in the 70s, all the way through some of the esoteric German stuff, and a new model that Antares built in-house. The guy who did this is a vocoder freak, and this is his product. And so you have your different bands and all kinds of different things. Let me play in some chords and attach that, and then we can play a little bit. So I'm going to do a MIDI track, and this is with any DAW. You'll need a MIDI track to go in, and we're just going to set the output of the MIDI track into the Vocodist, and it comes right up in Pro Tools. You can see the MIDI node, Vocodist 1, and if I hit record, you'll hear it as it goes by. And in fact, let me get my iPhone and kind of do some extra video here as we go, and I'll push it in. So here we go. I'm going to record there, and this is all real time. And okay, so that's basically what we're going to do. Let me stop that. All right, and I'll roll that in together with us. Okay, let's record to see what happens. I mean, this is real time, folks, so wish me luck. I'll play octaves. See, it works now. Doesn't matter what I sung like.
Music's feeling alright.
Yep.
Chords are working all night.
And I'll play some chords.
The chords are working all night. Chords are working all night.
And
Chords are working all night. Chords are working all night.
all right, so now maybe some double fists. So,
Chords are working all night.
and let's play.
Chords are working all night.
And keep playing.
The chords are working all night.
And maybe here.
Chords are working all night.
Thank goodness that worked, right?
Chords are working all night.
All right, that's enough. So let's take this little bit here. We'll pull it out of record, and we'll just maybe Yeah, let's take this a little bit right here, and I'll show you the different models. All right, we can take the bands and change things here. Right, we can change the different shifts and get something really cool. Change all kind of things. Nice. And let's change the waveform. Good. We can move down an octave here. Yep, or up. Isn't that cool? So there's all kinds of things you can do. You can bring in the original voice, turn on a chorus. Let me turn it down just a little bit. There we go. All right, and let me take the octave there. Bring the chorus back. That's starting to sound cool. And we could change the different models. And so what we could do is we could turn on the MIDI again and kind of mirror the original melody and create something really cool up under a lead singer. And so that's Vocodist. Again, with this plugin, because of time, I've only scratched the surface, and it's just stupid cool. And I'm glad I have it. So moving on to the next plugin. Let's talk about the last plugin on our list, the Auto-Tune Vocal EQ. And here's the session we're going to use. Let me let you listen just a little bit. It's the same singer we used before.
Funny feeling I'm not doing right, 'cause I feel like I'm hardly getting by. I feel like I'm barely living life. I've had good times, I'm grateful, but lately I've been seeing all in blue and I've been hateful to fake f***s and everyone else, but truly mostly to
We're going to come in with some
myself.
vocals here.
Let
you see the rest of the session.
Back, you know how it goes. My mom's alright for the moment though, 'cause she don't
Got some
know.
guitars and so forth.
I don't find use in a shrink. I'm not the type to speak
Background vocals
aloud.
later, but
Burden in. Feel the fire
basically the
that I
session.
hold close, even if they're empty. Cold.
Great. It's very intimate. It's a good thing to use for vocal EQ. So let's bring that on. You can see how I have it all routed to a vocal master. And let's just bring in Auto-Tune Vocal EQ. This is one of those plugins that you can resize on the fly, and it maintains complete integrity. So let's blow it up here. And just kind of go over it really quickly. It's a 6-band EQ with the high and low pads. It's got an air band, which goes up to 40K. Of course, you can't hear 40K, but you can hear what it does back down through the harmonics. This is a very harmonically oriented EQ. It's got a tilt band, and what that does is it takes the whole EQ and tilts it. And I'll bring up more of that later. Let's just make sure that's all flat. So looking at each band, we've got frequency, a track button, which we'll talk about, the shape and the gain, and then a dynamic portion. Now this is different than a dynamic compressor or a multiband compressor, because that has crossover networks and so forth, and phase is induced. This is literally just kind of riding the gain of the EQ, and so you don't have any phase response issues or anything like that. And it actually might be better for phase response, depending on who you talk to and what's going on. I've oversimplified a bit right there, but what we've got is auto-tune pitch metering. And so what happens if I play it, I'll show you, it tracks the pitch and it tracks the fundamental of whatever's going on. And you can see it'll do both the frequency and the note. And I've got this displayed as a keyboard so you can see the notes. And that's the fundamental of where she's moving and all the different notes she's singing. And that's going to be really helpful. Now, normally we would just make this EQ kind of do some cool stuff on its own. We'll use the little air band here. We'll suck out some low end here. Maybe use the filter. Make sure that's on. Back it off. Tighten up the band just a little bit. Might be a little too much high end, give it a little mid-range boost. And, you know, I cut with a Manley and a 1073 and an LA2A, so it's going to be just fine. But this is, you know, this is going to be nice. Now, what we could do is we could turn on track here on band 2, and instead of tracking, instead of being at whatever frequency this is, 192.6, it's not going to move with the pitch. Let's put track. And we've got some numbers here. This is the fundamental, second harmonic, third harmonic, fourth harmonic. This is how it's labeled. So however you call partials or harmonic. The first is the fundamental. So watch what it does. It'll actually track the fundamental no matter where it is. So you could make the band 6 way up here and put it on track, the fundamental, and it would bring it way back. Watch. So band 6, so you could do 2 bands if you wanted to. We're not going to do that. I think that's silly. So let's go back to band 2 here and focus on tracking. And we'll drop the gain just a little bit and maybe increase the bandwidth just a touch. I say increase, widen the bandwidth. And then we'll use band 4 to track maybe the 4th or 5th harmonic right where it is, and we'll give it a little more goose just so you can see it. Yep, there it is. So now the whole thing is tracking with it. And if we wanted, we could go up to band 6 and say track, you know, the 7th or 8th. Let's do the 8th and see what happens. Maybe not. Yeah. There we go. So now the whole thing is working. All right, so we're not done yet. Let's have a look at this tilt band while it's going. So check this out. It's like a seesaw. And so the whole thing is tracking but moving. And that's what's called a tilt band. And you can actually just boost a little bit of high end while subtracting just a little low end, or you can just boost all the high end, boost the low end, and everything still moves like it is. So, you know, how many times have you been in a mix and you're just like, I need just to do one move, but I don't want to mess up what I got. Well, the tilt band is your friend. That's what you'll use. So we're still not done. Let's use band 3. Let's track some more with it. Let's track another harmonic. And this time we'll vary the gain while it moves in the frequency. We'll vary the gain just a little bit up. And you can see it move here. Let's, there we go. So now we got some dynamic. Let's do that to band 2 just so you can see it. I'm not sure I would ever get this crazy with it. But now the whole thing is moving. We could do the same thing with band 6. And let's subtract this one for a little de-essing. There we go. And then we could tilt it to bring the high end back. Really powerful, super powerful. It's one of my go-to EQs now, and so I like it. And then you could save the whole thing with a preset. You could turn the spectrum analyzer on or off. All kinds of cool little things that you can do with this EQ, and I'm really proud to have it. All right. Before we end, I just want to quickly go through the plugins that AutoTune Unlimited includes. You know, I've been talking about downloading demos and trying some things out. Well, here's what you get in the bundle. Of course, you get AutoKey, but you also get AutoTune Access, AutoTune Artist, Pro, AutoTune EFX, Hybrid for DSP systems, Slice that we've talked about in this video, the Vocal EQ, Vocodist, and SoundSoap for denoising. You also get all of the AVOX plugins like Mic Mod, Duo, Choir, Aspire, Articulator, Mutator, Punch, Sybil, Throat, Warm, which we used a little bit here, and the almighty Harmony Engine, which is one of my favorites. So that's it for this video. Thanks again to IMSTA for allowing us to participate. As I said in the other video, they've always been good to me personally. I've worked with Ray on and off since 2006, and they've been very gracious to Antares through the years. I support the work IMSTA does, and I'm happy to have been part of this day with you. Check out the other IMSTA stream where I showcase production with AutoTune Pro X and reveal new features and tips for your work. So that's it for now. I'm Chris Griffin. Thanks for your time today.